You and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Let us start the session with the front page of the Hindu paper to know what exactly has happened in the recent past. And we'll start with the headlines. And the first 10 or 15 minutes, I'm going to read out the headlines from English proficiency point of view. From the headlines, you can learn a lot. You can learn vocabulary, you can consolidate your grammar knowledge, you can learn effective English. There's so much to learn. At the same time, you also know what is happening around the country, around the world. In a way, you are in touch with the current affairs or whatever is happening. Here you see small news items, but nothing to learn except transgender disability rights groups highlight. There also nothing to learn. But here we have one series disclaimer now shows hijackers' names. When you see hijacker, casual learner looks at the headline and thinks only one word hijacker, that also we all know, disclaim. And disclaim also claim, opposite disclaim. But hijacker, a casual reader looks at the word and moves on to the next news item. But a smart learner thinks of the related words. Exam point of view, whatever is relevant, he will recollect and try to consolidate. Usually, the word hijack goes with a plane and it goes with terrorists. Terrorists hijack a plane. Then we say the passengers, we call the passengers on board the hostages. Once hostages, very good, Nagesh. And that crisis is known as hostage crisis. That is one thing. At the same time, something like this, a person gets kidnapped. Then you have to think of words like kidnapper, a simple word, and these kidnappers they demand money for releasing the one who gets kidnapped. For that, we use the word ransom. Ransom is an important word. Ransom is the money demanded by the kidnappers. And here, hijacker, you have to recollect the word hostage, hostages. And also, sometimes what happens, the person who gets kidnapped falls in love with the kidnapper. That is known as Stockholm syndrome. That's an interesting phenomenon. Syndrome. What is a Stockholm syndrome? Stockholm syndrome means the one who gets kidnapped falls in love with the kidnapper. That is known as Stockholm syndrome. All these are important. See, one based on one word, if you recollect all the related words, that is being a little smart and you're trying to consolidate your knowledge. Let us look at other headlines. Here we have one munitions looted from police used in drone attack. Munitions means military guns and bombs. For the guns and bombs of military, we use the word munitions. That's an important word. And also, there's one word looted. If you guys remember, I told this, we got this yesterday also. A loot. A loot means there are two meanings. One meaning, usually, loot someone at the individual level, exploit someone. But whenever there is a problem, a particular place, a particular town or a city, there is a crowd, there's a mob, they become unruly. Once the crowd or the mob becomes unruly, out of anger, they try to attack the shops and they try to take whatever is there in a particular shop. Whatever they can get, they take and they walk off. That is known as looting. On the other hand, if a foreign power enters a particular country and takes away the treasures of that particular country, then we use the word plunder. Plunder. There's another word, Murli, very good. Pilferage. Pilferage, steal, different words. When someone steals in small quantities regularly, that is known as a pilferage. And stealing a regular thing. But someone goes to a shop and steals, that is known as a shoplifting, a different word altogether. See here, based on this, munitions looted from police used in drone attack. Congress and Aam Aadmi Party start talks for Haryana election alliance. There is one word here, alliance. Already we have got the word alliance. Again, smart kleptomaniac. Very good. Who is that? Shreya. I appreciate. Some people, wherever they go, they try to steal. They can't control that. Then we use the word kleptomaniac. Why do they do that? No one knows. Perhaps something wrong with the genes. And coming to the word, what is the word here? The Congress, the up. Before any party, Aam Aadmi Party or the Congress, we have to use a definite article the. That you have to recollect, important from grammar point of view. And coming to the word alliance, a casual reader may look at this headline: Congress up start talks for Haryana election alliance. Simple. But a smart learner, based on the word alliance, will think of words like coalition, alliance, and also incumbent government. Government, coalition government, also simultaneously recollect the word incumbent government. Incumbent means what? In power. Incumbent prime minister, incumbent government, incumbent CM, the one who is holding power. All the related words you have to recollect. Now let us go to the main headline: Nine Maoists, including six women, killed in Dantewada operation. Nothing to learn as such. And there's one word here: Bengal passes bill that moots death for rape. The word moot, that has two different meanings. One meaning, it means to suggest something for discussion or initiate a discussion. Moot. Another meaning of the word moot, it also means a problem for which we cannot get a solution after the discussion also. After the debate, discussion, a particular issue, you don't get a solution, then that is known as a moot problem. And we also use a combination like moot question. That also you have to know. Again, when you see the word death, death, exam point of view, a lot of words are there, though it is not a positive word. Death by drowning. Drown means to go underwater. When you don't know how to swim, you enter a pool or a lake or a river. What happens? You get drowned. And death by drowning. One expression: death by stabbing. You take a small knife and kill someone, that is known as death by stabbing. Death by strangulation. Strangulate means to hold someone's neck and make that person get suffocated and kill that person. Strangulation. Death by poisoning. Death by shooting. So many words are there you have to recollect. But in this context, it talks about a law. A particular concept is in the limelight. What is it? Capital punishment. What is the meaning of capital punishment? Capital punishment means a death penalty. It is in the limelight because in Western countries, the death penalty has been abolished. But today we have in our country, and the intellectuals of this country, they have been demanding we should also abolish death penalty or capital punishment because it does not act as a deterrent. Deterrent means what? Something that prevents someone from doing something. So they have been demanding we should also abolish death penalty or capital punishment. And sometimes you may get as a passage capital punishment, very important topic. Going to the next one, here we have one expression: Defense Ministry approves capital acquisition plan. There is one word: acquisition, acquire. You are here to acquire knowledge. Acquire is a verb form. What is the noun form of that? Acquisition. Acquire goes with two combinations. One here, acquisition plan, a different combination. But generally speaking, it goes with knowledge. Acquire knowledge, one combination. And the other combination is acquire wealth. It goes with wealth and property, acquire property. And here you can also say acquire land, another combination. And we have to look at approve. Approve means to give the permission. Look at this headline: 4 point, excuse me, 4.15 lakh people affected by floods in AP. When you see the word affected, you have to become alert and you have to recollect two words. One is AFFECT, affect, and what is the other word you have to think of? Effect. So, what is the difference between affect and effect? Affect is a verb. And effect can be a verb, can be a noun. But usage point of view, usually we use the word effect as a noun, but it can also be a verb. That you have to remember, an important one. And coming to the next headline, look at this. World Bank hikes India's economic growth forecast to 7% for 2024-25. There are two words over here. One is the word hike. A casual reader will have a look at the word hike and what is the typical or primary meaning of hike in this context also increase. Hike in prices, hike in salaries, hike in wages, increase. And you should also recollect the word surge. Surge has two meanings. One meaning increase, sudden increase. Surge also means sudden forward movement. And besides that, hike also goes with, you have to think of hiking. When you talk about hobbies, some people say, my hobby is hiking, my hobby is trekking. They go hand in hand, hiking and trekking. But there is a subtle difference. What is a subtle difference? Hiking is a long walk you take in the countryside or lowland areas, and trekking goes with you take a long walk in the mountain region that is known as trekking. But there's one more thing you have to know. If you go to the US, this expression is quite popular. What is it? It is hitchhiking. What is hitchhiking? Those in the US, youngsters don't have their own vehicles, but they want to travel long distances. So, what they do on the highway, they try to stop their truck drivers and they ask for a lift. And they keep changing because they have to travel long distance, and that is known as hitchhiking. Hitchhiking means it is taking lift from different truck drivers to go from one place to another place. Hitchhiking, important expression. HITCH hyphen hiking. This concept is very popular in the US, hitchhiking, that you have to recollect. And coming to the word forecast, many of our students know when you take words like cast, forecast, telecast, broadcast, cost, and hurt, they have the same forms cost, 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 cast, cast, cast. Same way, telecast, forecast, broadcast, and hurt. That is very useful from grammar point of view, exam point of view. Coming to the next headline, here we have UP related news. Every job in UP was auctioned. Every job was auctioned by someone, someone auctioned every job. So the moment you read this, you have to tell yourself it is in past tense passive voice. Was auctioned. And when you see the word auctioned, you have to think of bidding. There's one word that goes with auction. What is it? Bid or bidding. At the time of auction, people bid. BID, bid. Bidding goes with auction, an important word. And during SP regime, we have got the word regime so many times. I think we got yesterday also. Regime has two different meanings. One meaning, regime means the government, sometimes authoritative. One meaning. And current regime means the current government. The other one, incumbent government. Very good. Busy life. The other meaning of regime we got yesterday, tax regime. Tax regime means what? The system. An established system is also known as a regime. What do we have here? Kolkata doctors gift a spine. We all have the spinal cord, or it is also known as backbone. Spine, spinal cord. Kolkata doctors gift a spine to the police commissioner, demand urgent resignation. That's how they're trying to protest, and not much to learn from that headline. But here, Nagaland tribe seeks rectification, rectifies something. Means what? Correct something. Rectification. Rectify is a verb form, rectification is a noun form. And seek. Seek means to look for something, to search for something. Correction, you're right, busy life. And here, seek, sought. For the name for you guys are searching for a job. And what is the word? Job seekers. Very good. Seek, sought, Nagesh, and busy life. I appreciate. What else is there to learn? It's already 9:15. I will stop after this. We'll see this page. Declared as non-citizens by foreigners tribunals 28 in Assam, sent to transit camp. Transit is something like for temporary camp for the time being. That is one thing. And principal arrested in second fake NCC camp case in Tamil Nadu. Easy, simple words. Last time I told you fake currency. What is the expression? As prospective bankers, you have to know counterfeit currency. Fake currency is also known as a counterfeit currency. Badlapur case, Bombay High Court emphasizes on sensitizing boys to create safe spaces for girls. Simple words. That's all from the headlines. It's already 9:15. I said I would spend 10 to 15 minutes on the headlines, again from English proficiency point of view. But if you make it a habit, you will be able to improve your whatever is happening in the world. You can keep yourself abreast of the latest developments. You can keep in touch with the current affairs. At the same time, the most important thing, you can improve your English proficiency from the exam point of view. Coming to the editorial, what is today's editorial about? And what can you learn from the session? You can improve your comprehension skill as usual. You can improve your vocabulary. Some important words are there. You can consolidate your grammar knowledge, improve your effective English. You can take mini mocks. Today, some important questions are there, and have brought a para jumble also, and vocab consolidation. Let us start with editorial or effective vocabulary. What is the very first word? This word is also in the limelight. What is the reason? First, I'll tell the part of speech, the meaning. Oblivious part of speech, it is adjective. What does it mean? Not being aware of the surroundings. When you're not aware of the surroundings, you don't realize what is happening around you. That means you're oblivious of your surroundings. Look at the meaning. Not aware of or not concerned about what is happening around one. You're not aware of that is one thing. You're not concerned about what is happening around you. She walked through the busy market, oblivious to the noise and crowds around her. Oblivious to the noise and crowds around her means she was not bothered at all. This is an important word. Today, why did I smile? Why did I say this word is in the limelight? Because of the mobile phones. Because of mobile phones, a lot of people in the streets, they try to use a mobile and they get engrossed in that. Engross means to get deeply involved in something. They get engrossed and they become oblivious of the surroundings. And because of that, sometimes they fall in the manholes. They may hit the lamp post or they may dash someone. All these things are happening all because of becoming oblivious of the surroundings. Unaware, heedless. Heed means to listen to or to pay attention to. Ignorant, inattentive. Aware, conscious, mindful, attentive. Simple words. Retribution, an important word, part of speech, noun. Punishment inflicted on someone as vengeance for a wrong or criminal act. Punishment inflicted. Inflict means what? Cause. Cause usually what? Pain. And this word goes with pain, inflict suffering. Punishment inflicted on someone as vengeance means revenge for a wrong or criminal act. Look at the example. The villagers feared retribution from the authorities after protesting against a new law. Imagine new law, some people protested. Then they have the fear the government may take action on them. That time we use the word retribution. Look at the synonyms: vengeance, punishment, reprisal, justice. Antonyms: forgiveness, pardon, mercy, leniency. All the words are important. Impunity, an important word, part of speech, noun. Exemption from punishment or freedom from the injurious consequences of an action. Exemption. There is a law. Law means like a rule. Generally, we say a rule is a rule for everyone. But sometimes we have exceptions. Some people don't have to follow the law. Then we say they have the exemption. You also know the expression tax exemption. Tax exemption also goes with the same. You don't have to do something. On the other hand, others have to do the same thing. It's a rule for them. Exemption from punishment is known as impunity. In a way, you can say it is immunity from punishment. Look at the example. The corrupt officials acted with impunity, believing they were above the law. They thought they would escape. When someone escapes punishment, there's one important idiom. You all have to know, they have given many a time. If you know, you can respond. To go scot free. The politician has gone scot free means what? Escaped punishment. An important idiom. To go scot free means to escape punishment. What are the synonyms? Exemption, immunity, protection, indemnity. An important word you have to remember. Accountability, liability, responsibility, vulnerability. Not exactly here. Gloat. We have got this for the first time. That's what I feel. Gloat. Part of speech verb. Dwelling on one's own success or another's misfortune with smugness or malignant pleasure. Someone suffers, you enjoy. Then what is the word for that? There's one important word. People mispronounce. The person is called and the act is known as this. Usually, a lot of people say sadist, sadism. No, it is sadist, sadism. The way you pronounce that matters a lot. Not sadist, sadist, not sadism, sadism. In a way, it is the same. Dwelling on one's own success. There are two dimensions over here. Dwelling means it has many meanings. One meaning, the place of residence is known as dwelling. The plural form, dwellings. And usually I tell students, many of our students know, when someone thinks a lot about the past, we say, don't dwell on the past and brood over the past. Brood takes a preposition. We say, don't brood over the past and don't dwell on the past. They go with someone thinks a lot about the past. We use these expressions. Brood over, dwell on. You have to recollect. Look at the example. He could not resist gloating over his rival's defeat. This is there are two dimensions. One is you enjoy your own success, nothing wrong in that. But when someone loses the competition or someone suffers, you enjoy a lot. That is not a good quality. For that, we have to use a word. We can use the same word. Look at the example. He could not resist gloating, means enjoying his rival's defeat in the competition. Malignant pleasure, something that is not acceptable. Synonyms: bragging, boasting, exulting, reveling. I've given many a time these words. Along with these two words, I also give one idiomatic expression. What is that? Blow one's own trumpet. Blow one's own trumpet means a bragging or a boasting. Blow one's own trumpet. Some people they talk about their children, they talk about their possessions all the time, and they think they are the best. Then we say he always brags about his car. They always brag about their children, and he always blows his own trumpet. Blow one's own trumpet also means the same. An important idiom. It means bragging or boasting. Let us go to the next word, plight. At the time of COVID, migrant workers had, and editorials would use this word quite often that time. Plight of migrant workers. It also goes with the plight of students. When they leave the native place, they come to a big city, they work very hard, they struggle preparing for competitive exams. Then also we can say the plight of students. Plight, part of speech noun, a dangerous, difficult, or otherwise unfortunate situation. Miserable situation, we use the word plight. Look at the example. The documentary highlighted the plight of refugees fleeing from war torn regions. When a particular region is war torn, means war is going on, raging, they try to flee from the place. Flee means what? To run away, to escape. And that time, they face a lot of problems, the refugees. Then we say the plight of quandary. Shreya, very good. And here I think they have given no. Synonyms are predicament, dilemma, hardship, struggle. And antonyms fortune, prosperity, advantage, success. Betray. Betrayal is a noun form. Betray verb. What does it mean? Part of speech verb. To reveal or expose someone's trust or confidence, or to unintentionally reveal information. Generally, we don't say unintentionally, it is intentional. You trust someone or someone trusts you, and you cheat someone who the person trusts you a lot. Then we use the word betrayal. Look at the example. She felt betrayed when she found out her friend had shared her secret. For this, we also use one everyday English expression. What is it? Backstabbing. Have you heard of this? Betrayal. One more context, a deceive or cheat, someone who trusts you a lot. That has to be added. A subversion also you can use. And backstabbing. That's true. Who is this busy like Katappa? She felt betrayed when she found out her friend had shared her secret. And it is here backstab. Deceive, backstab, reveal does not go with. It means revealing someone's secret or exposing someone's secret. Protect, defend, conceal, uphold. Egregious, we have got a few times. Part of speech adjective, outstandingly bad or shocking. Something very bad or shocking, we say egregious. The company was fined for its egregious violation of environmental laws. Last time also we got the same expression. Shocking, appalling, outrageous, flagrant. Flagrant is an important word, outrageous, important word. Appalling means shocking. That also you have to remember. That's all about the vocabulary part. Coming to the editorial, this editorial is all about using bulldozers in a way to punish or to make people not to scare people. Intentions could be anything, but the Supreme Court says someone has been accused. It doesn't mean that the government has a right to bulldoze a person's house. It's all about that. Let's see what the stimulus is. Demolition squad. Demolish, we got yesterday, it goes with buildings. Pull down, tear down, demolish means destroy a building or a house. Squad on the Supreme Court and bulldozer justice. What is this bulldozer justice? Some to punish someone, you use bulldozers. So they have created a new expression. What is it? Bulldozer justice. But what is the main idea? Courts cannot be oblivious to the oblivious. Means they cannot ignore, they cannot keep quiet. Courts cannot be oblivious to the communal symbolism of the bulldozer. I'm sure those who follow the newspapers, those who follow the current affairs, they know what is happening in UP, what happened in UP, and they used bulldozers. UP government used bulldozers, especially against a particular community, and the justification given in a way to punish or in a way to scare or threaten or this acts as a deterrent. But the court does not approve, and the editorial says courts cannot remain oblivious to this trend. They have to wake up. They have to do something. Let us see what based on what they have written this article. In raising questions about the legality of the demolition of houses belonging to alleged offenders, the Supreme Court of India has articulated a valid and widespread concern about the use of the bulldozer as a form of retribution. A lengthy sentence, but easy to understand. Here, in raising questions about the legality or the justification, legality or justification related to what? Of demolition of houses, and these houses belonging to the accused or alleged, belonging to alleged offenders. Offender means a person who breaks law. We say offender. The Supreme Court of India has articulated, means said very clearly. Articulate speaker means someone who speaks very clearly. And you have to recollect the word enunciation. Articulation, enunciation, to speak clearly. A valid and widespread concern about what is a concern about valid concern and a widespread concern, the use of the bulldozer as a form of retribution, and the targeted community, also a particular community. The targeted demolition of Muslim houses has become part of the governance model in BJP ruled states, and if the court can end the impunity with which these extra legal measures are used by those, something, one word is missing here, but basically it says the targeted community, a particular community has been targeted. And where is this happening, this trend of targeting a particular community? BJP ruled states. And if the court can end the impunity or the immunity with which these governments are doing, in a way it is good. But do remember, I would like to reiterate, whatever I do here, the analysis, it is not my opinion. It is the opinion of the editorial. I am here just to talk objectively, not subjectively. I have used two terms. Subjective opinion means a personal opinion. I am not here to express my personal opinions. This is not the platform. Whatever the editorial says, I try to tell you guys. It is purely objective and it is about the stand taken by the editorial. It is opinion of the editorial. Do remember always that you have to remember. These extra legal measures are used by those in power. It will be a wholesome intervention. What it means, because they're targeting a particular community using bulldozers and bringing down or pulling down the houses of the accused people. And where is this happening? It is happening in BJP ruled states, and they have some sort of impunity or immunity. Because of that, they're able to do that using the law, using the power and authority. And the editorial opines it has to be stopped. If it is stopped, it is good. Are used by those in power, it would be a wholesome intervention. Court has to intervene and stop. That is the idea over here. As Justice B.R. Gawai, heading a division bench with Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, remarked, the law indeed does not permit anyone's home to be demolished just because they are accused in a case, and it cannot happen even in the case of a convict. This is an important point. What does the law say? A person has been accused. It doesn't mean that the government has the right to demolish the house. Both are entirely different. And imagine, accused means you say someone has done something wrong, not proven. But imagine there's a conviction and there's a convict. Convict, verb, convict, noun form. Someone has been found guilty and convicted, still the government does not have the right to demolish that person's house. Accused ruled out. Convict also, according to law, the government does not have the right to demolish the house of a convict. The judiciary cannot be oblivious, means it has to do something. To political symbolism that the bulldozer has acquired, all these are the opinion of the Hindu, the editorial. Today, when we think of bulldozers, we think of the UP government, we think of the CM of the UP, and we think of a particular party. They have become symbolic and also against whom everyone knows it's an open secret. So, political symbolism that the bulldozer has acquired, has got, as an instrument of collective punishment, not individual punishment, in a way, collective punishment inflicted on those the authorities label as rioters, caused, inflict pain, inflict hardships on those the authorities label as rioters. Who, who is being targeted? A particular community. And what is the justification given made by the government? The government says, labels those people rioters and accused, they have been accused for rioting or clashes in a particular place. So they are targeted and their houses are being, what do we say, raged, means what? Demolished or being brought down or pulled down. There are instances of the houses of named suspects being demolished without regard to the fact that the rest of the family may have nothing to do with the offense. There's another dimension. What is the dimension? According to law, the government does not have the right to demolish the house of the accused and also the house of a convict. Neither this nor that, the government does not have the right. And one more justification why shouldn't they do that? Imagine someone has committed crime. The family has nothing to do with that person's crime. And why should they be punished? So, based on that, there we have collective punishment. Here, it talks about the same thing. There are instances of the houses of named suspect being demolished without regard, without concern to the fact that the rest of the family may have nothing to do with the offense. The rest of the family has nothing to do with the offense. So, why should they suffer? That is a valid point. The editorial says, however, considering that local laws do permit removal of encroachments and unauthorized constructions, the government can demolish a house on one particular ground. What is that? Imagine it comes under encroachment. Encroachments, government doesn't have to wait, and legally it is acceptable. The government can demolish the house. No one can question, and it's a valid reason because encroachments are not acceptable legally. This sentence talks about that. However, considering that local laws do permit, emphatic statement, removal of encroachments and unauthorized constructions, the bench has articulated its intention to lay down uniform guidelines on a pan India basis to streamline, organize the procedure for action against such structures. Keeping this in mind, they wanted to come up with rules pan India basis or on a pan India basis, means the same rules applicable across the country. The bench has articulated its intention, clearly mentioned its intention to do what? To lay down an important expression. I think we have got recently. Lay down goes with rules and regulations and policies. It also goes with foundation stone and roads, all these. Lay, laid, laid. That is the verb we are talking about. Lay down uniform guidelines on a pan India basis. To streamline means to organize. While preparing for competitive exams, you have to streamline your preparation, means you have to organize your preparation. The procedure for action against such structures. Observations by Justice Viswanathan indicate that these may involve the manner in which unauthorized structures are to be identified. How do they do that? One of the dimensions, they have to have some sort of framework to identify unauthorized structures, in which may involve the manner in which unauthorized structures are to be identified, notices issued to those concerned, and a fair hearing given to them before any action. All these things have to be done before demolishing a particular house. It is here that the court should tread carefully. Should tread carefully. Should is used to advise or suggest. Already I've told many a time. And tread, trod, trodden, an important verb. Here, tread means a step, step on something. Tread, trod, trodden. You have to know all the three forms. It means to step on something. And when you go to the fitness center, you see people hold the thing and there's a belt that keeps on moving. People they don't use the right word. They say treadmill. It is not treadmill, it is treadmill. Tread means to step on something. The laying down of guidelines should not send out a message that the obvious correlation between incidents of communal violence and the demolitions that follow them can be blurred by administrative trickery. There is a possibility of administrative trickery, and that should be avoided, the sentence says. The laying down of guidelines should not send out a message that the obvious correlation between incidents of communal violence and the demolitions that follow them can be blurred by administrative trickery. This is again, it talks about the loophole and how they can take advantage of this. In many cases, backdated eviction notices are produced to justify these demolitions, even as obvious gloating over. How are they doing this? There's a clue here. To demolish a particular house, you need, imagine it is an encroachment. Then first notice has to be given, then you can demolish. So what they're doing here, they're showing old notices, in many cases backdated eviction notices are produced to justify these demolitions, even as obvious gloating over the inhabitants' plight betrays the political and communal motive. It cannot be justified on any ground. It says the inhabitants' plight betrays the political and communal motive. The idea of digitalizing eviction notices may address the problem of backdated notices, but it may not be possible to make the transition in all parts of the country. Digital, if you try to digitalize, it is a good idea, but it takes a lot of time across the country. The real question that the court should deal with, is whether the claim that only encroachments are being demolished is enough to justify the egregious violation. They are saying that they are just demolishing the encroachments, but can it be justified? The court wonders. Of the rule of law and absence of due process in several recent instances in Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, and Delhi. Due process is always important. Without that, one cannot do anything. One should not do. It ought to be clear by now that the ruling party in these states seeks to gain political mileage by giving the impression that the regime is acting sternly against antisocial elements. That is the message they're trying to send. We are acting against antisocial elements, even while thinly masking the blatantly communal action by passing it off as an anti encroachment drive. What it means, they are saying it is anti encroachment drive, but in a way, they are sending a message. What is the message to get the political mileage? They are acting sternly against anti social elements. That is the message they are giving, but actually, in a way, it is like obviously they say anti encroachment, but it is something else to gain the political mileage. Perhaps it ends on that note. You have to read twice or thrice because it's a bit legal dimension is there. A few sentences, lengthy sentences, not easy to comprehend. Now try to answer these questions. What is the primary concern articulated by the Supreme Court of India regarding the use of bulldozers for demolishing houses? The legality of the demolition of encroachments, the communal symbolism and retribution associated with the use of bulldozers, the speed at which they are conducted, the lack of compensation for the victims. It cannot be the third one, it cannot be the fourth one, A or B, but answer is the communal symbolism and retribution associated with the use of bulldozers. B is the answer. According to the editorial, what has a bulldozer come to symbolize in BJP ruled states? Now, bulldozer has become a sort of symbol that is very unfortunate. A tool for urban development, an instrument of collective punishment and political symbolism. Hold this one. Remove unauthorized constructions, traditionally bulldozers for construction purpose, and removing encroachments. Traditional image, but now it has changed, and answer should be B is the answer. Very good. What does the Supreme Court intend to do to address the issue of demolitions according to the editorial? Ban the use of bulldozers does not make any sense. Lay down uniform guidelines on a pan India basis. Pan India means across the country. For the procedure against unauthorized structures, it is clearly mentioned. No need to go beyond the second option. Why does the editorial suggest that the Supreme Court should tread carefully while laying down guidelines for demolitions to ensure that demolitions are conducted swiftly and efficiently, to avoid sending a message that communal violence and subsequent demolitions can be justified, to prevent overburdening the social judicial system? No, no. Answer is again B is the answer. Based on this, administrative trickery may happen. That's what the editorial says. What problem does editorial identify with the use of backdated eviction notices in relation to demolitions? This is not correct. They create confusion among the authorities responsible for demolitions? No. They are used to justify demolitions post communal violence, indicating political and communal motives. Answer is C. Very good. Anand. First one. Shreya also. Now we have error location, error based questions. Read the first one and try to spot the error. At the time, the entitlements of NFSA beneficiaries were doubled and the nomenclature of PMGKAY were affixed. Here we have two clauses, clause 1, clause 2. In the first clause, at the time is a phrase, the entitlements. This is a of not important, it's a phrase. Entitlements, plural verb, nothing wrong. Were doubled. But in the second clause, and the nomenclature. Nomenclature goes with giving names. If you take scientific names, there's a system called binomial nomenclature. Binomial means two names, a genus and species. Nomenclature means classification. Nomenclature is a singular. Of PMGKAY is a phrase, don't consider. Based on that, you cannot say nomenclature were affixed. You have to say was. What is a verb? We have to use a singular verb. Yes, very good. I appreciate that. It is related to subject verb agreement. There was no urgency on his part to have made the announcement then, and in an election rally, especially when there was sufficient time to do so. This goes with non finite verbs. Very good. Busy life within no time. There was no urgency on his part to have make is not correct. Here we have to use to have made. To have made is one unit. You cannot separate. To have made, that's a non finite verb. What is a finite verb? It has a tense. It has to agree with the subject in person and number. What is a non finite verb? It does not have a tense. It doesn't have to agree with the subject in person and number. Here the verb should be in the past participle form. At an election rally last week in Durg, Chhattisgarh, PM made the announcement which should be viewed a violation of the model code of conduct. Here, which should be viewed, after that we need a word that is missing. What is that word? Viewed as. It should be viewed as what? A violation of the model code of conduct. Very good, Nagesh. I appreciate that. Wonderful. Shreya also, Murli also, within no time. This is, I don't know whether you can make out or not, the font size had to be reduced based on the text. We have 6 parts here. But when you go through these parts, what I suggest, please go through. After the session, access the PDF and work on this Jumble. Tomorrow I will tell you the correct order. Or if you can do now, that is also wonderful. Please respond. Would you like to work on this Jumble now or tomorrow? Okay. Then we have idioms. Raise the bar. Raise the bar means raise standards or expectations. Answer is B. Storm in a teacup. Something happened, a small incident, but they try to make it bigger than what it is. They try to magnify, exaggerate. Based on that, a small event that has been exaggerated out of proportion. E. Haste makes waste. We always say don't be hasty. Haste makes waste. What does it mean, haste? Trying to do things in a hurry. Something that, no. Quickly doing things results in a poor ending. Based on that, D. Out of the blue, we have got recently. Something that suddenly and unexpectedly occurs. A. Variety is the spice of life. The more experiences you try, the more exciting life can be. Need not be all the time. You got to be careful. What is the next one? Vocab consolidation. We got all these words yesterday. Oversight has two different meanings. One is positive, the other one is negative. What is a positive one? Oversight means to monitor, to look at something, to consider something, to observe something, to monitor. But the negative connotation, to miss something, overlook something, negative connotation. And part of speech is noun, regime, noun. What does it mean? Two different meanings. One meaning, it is the government, incumbent government, sometimes authoritative. The other one, a system, tax regime. There it means a system. And slated means a scheduled, slated for tomorrow, scheduled for tomorrow. Slate is a verb, slated. Slate as a noun also you can use, but the meaning changes. Parley is noun. What does it mean? Discussions in deliberations. At the time of deliberations, the discussions, we use parleys. Arduous means difficult, demanding a lot of effort, arduous efforts while preparing for competitive exams. Aversion, part of speech noun. Arduous is adjective. Aversion means what? You dislike something a lot. You find something disgusting, loathsome. Then you use the word aversion. Deliberations, deliberate has a different meaning. Deliberate means intentional, open, but deliberation means discussions, careful discussions. We use the word deliberation. Nudge goes with everyday English, it also goes with effective English. Nudge, everyday English, using your elbow and pushing someone slowly or softly. But nudge also means push a particular policy or a particular project, make it happen. Advocate, support something or someone. Advocate of a particular cause means they want to support that cause, they want to find a solution. And roll out means to launch, roll out a plan, roll out a policy. They go with abstract concepts. And amenable, someone who can be molded or can be changed or friendly or willing to listen to. And yield can be positive, can be negative. Positive meaning is what? To produce. It goes with agriculture. Negative, to surrender. To surrender, you have to think of the phrasal verb given, yield. And acrimonious adjective. It goes with argument, fight. Acrimonious means a bitter. Acrimonious fight, bitter fight. Acrimonious argument. And nitty gritty, the practical aspects of something, a particular field, or when it comes to an event, you talk about the nitty gritty of that particular thing, mean the practical side or the basics of something, how to do something. Spectre has two meanings. One meaning, a fear that something bad may happen, that is known as spectre. The other one, literally, spectre means ghost, another meaning. All these words are very important. You got to spend some time to remember. That's all for today. Have a nice day and access the PDF after the session. For that, you have to join the Telegram group. Thank you.